Hi, welcome back. Channel Train Station 2. Alright, lucky here. We got first in the Europe Rails Revolution first competitions. Alright, so this is the start of competitions as usual. Starting late is first the step to winning, so that you can avoid all the very tough competitors or they pay to win because they are all too excited to start on time. You normally start about 12 to 13 hours late. If try to keep between 10 to 12, I think that'll be the best, just in case you get disqualified for starting too late. So this is something you to bear in mind. All right. So collecting of coins is a must. Especially I'm trying to save up before I reach Egypt really fast. All right. So this is the start European Real trip itself. All right. So a lot of things to be done for sure, but I think first you really got to bear in mind you got to upgrade your factory. All right, so your railroad factory you got to upgrade, spending 110 gems for 2 additional slots. That's one. Then you start building the event items already, because the first 4 items that they need to deliver are non-event items that give you some time to build out your inventory of the event items. So do not start building them when only you need them, but rather do it prior to that, while you deliver the 4 deliveries of the non-event items. So collect lots of these raw materials from the event map, the tools and whatnot. So this is definitely the second tip going to share with you. Right, so first, start late. Second, start building the event items from the start itself. So chalk up a huge inventory. Likewise, what you're doing now, of course, entering into the second competition soon, you should build up a huge inventory of the event items you'll be asked for, probably in the hundreds or even near to thousand at times. Third, of course, later on I'm going to share with you the use of the Innovation Center. It's a must, especially for the first 3 competition. I've been saving up a lot of those union dollars or union bucks, you can call it. That would be basically used for the first 3 competition in every single long event I do, because with that additional capacity, not only it allows you to deliver faster, it also allows you to do 2 other things, which is one, collect more of those raw materials, and then collect more coins along the way as well. Right, so these are the things you got to bear in mind in playing the long events. In the mini events, forget about it. Do not put an effort to that, because it's just a resting time. But these are the long events whereby you will get really good trains, a good number of rewards in terms of gems, coins and parts, which are relatively important as you progress further into the game itself. Reaching 800 level, I'll be entering Egypt, so it is really a bit concerning, because the fact that we will be having a hard time, especially in the next long event, especially entering into the new event itself. And of course, sometimes you will face a really tough competitor, like I have one right now in the event itself. But bear in mind, it's about persistency, consistency in working out the same approach. Sometimes people may be spending lots of gems, but it's just a moment. They can't be spending all the way, so you just got to bear this in mind. As long as you're persistent in doing what you do, even though they get first for the first time, you just get first probably in the second or third competition. Why I focus on the first 3 competitions? Because they're the easiest to get first. So there are events whereby you will realize people would struggle in the 4th, 5th or 6th competition, because they're running out of time and really all fighting for the good number of 1000 event coins. That's the reason why in the 4th, 5th and 6th competition is so tough. People will just spend everything that they have, and you're really fighting really hard battles. I'd rather we do it in the first 3. The other thing about it is definitely because the first 3 competition you have not hit 100% completion of the event mapped. Because of that, the items being asked for quantity will be smaller, so definitely it'll be easier fight on that. All right, so these are some little tips you got to do. Union dollars must be earned, so basically you must continuously do your union delivery as well. If extra items, you trade it in for union items, so you can do some delivery as well. Union dollars are really precious. I'm running a bit out of the map, the color maps for upgrading of the building. All thanks to buying a few pieces of land. I expanded my land itself, and of course because of that we managed to increase population, also increase the warehouse storage to 8,100. It's not a huge warehouse, definitely. So having the new logistics center does help for me. Anytime I can call for raw materials by parking a lot of trains there. So this is something that I need to work with a small warehouse. The other thing is I'll store all the items in the factory, the non-event factory. Input and output tray. Once your input tray is filled, your output tray will be stored, and that was where I will use it as an interim warehousing. Right. So at this tail end of the event, we have reached a good gap, about 200 plus. I'm really hoping to get first here because like I said, this is the easiest of all competition, the first three. This is the logic center I'm talking about. In terms of a small warehouse, you got to use that. But again, putting trains in means you can't use trains for something else. So you got to bear this in mind. We've got to think about how hard it is without those good trains to collect those raw materials from every single other region. But nonetheless, you can collect it automatically and always available for you. So that doesn't really need to take up the warehouse spacing. So Logistics Center, Innovation Center, these two are the great innovations of Pixel Federation for Train Station 2, which I really love. The other thing about it is it continuously build your items even though they're not in need. Keep on building because eventually, who knows, when you need it, at least you have the items ready. So you can see here, once you have delivered the non-event items, the next set will all be event items most of the time. So you can see how demanding it is on the factory of the event factory. So if you do not upgrade to 4 slots, you'll be having a hard time struggling with just 2 slots of manufacturing. So this is something you really think about. Saving 110 gems is important before the start of any single long event. That's what I normally do, and by the time of the end of the first competition, I'll be running out of gems already because we're spending a huge chunk of 110 of my savings of gems, which I watch video by video. Sometimes through the event we get 10 or 20 gems. So these are the hard-earned saving gems, unlike the pay-to-win. We can just put in gems like just spending money, right? So in terms of Android players, likewise, they are fortunate. They can play affiliated games and they can just get a lot of those. All right, so you got first here, and of course I'm not going to change my Santa Claus, which I love much. I'm just going to close it off, and not going to use a new profile, but nonetheless it's a good collection. All right, so with that, preparation needed for the second competition, as I mentioned. So make sure at least you have 4 jobs ready before the start of the second competition, and after that build a huge inventory of those event items from your railroad factory, which is the event factory itself. So I'm going to do that continuously. Meanwhile, building up the inventory will also build up the non-event factory items continuously, because that supports the railroad factory itself. Like, you know, iron powder is really important, so make sure you have lots of it, although it takes some 2 minutes or so get it done, but it's really a sub-component required in order for you to get those event items out, which is a dynamite. So these are the things you really got to work out, and most of the time Pixel is very tricky when they ask for dynamite, at the same time they ask for iron powder to make it really tough for you. Alright, so we have the 4 sets of jobs ready, continuously working on the unions so we can get more. Of course, sometimes not easy, the parts are missing, so this is really tough sometimes, but nonetheless, keep on trying, and definitely the warehouse is giving a problem again. We'll try our best to clear it out by doing more. At the same time, clear up some of these items by delivering them, especially I've still got some jobs in Japan. Also the fact that sometimes you use it for the building request itself. Okay, so that's how it works out. So let's try and try to squeeze in every single space that we have with raw materials and standby. Again, the event items, raw materials, there are 2 types. Make sure you collect tons of that because when you keep on building it while your trains are out, because that's the only items you can't get when your dispatches are all sent out. Unlike the other raw materials, you can use the logistics center to do that, which is this logistics center. You can collect this, of course. Not all the items, the majority of items are there already. So I'm quite happy with that because there's no dispatcher required. The only thing if is the event items, which really hectic if you do not have that. So space, a warehouse space, if you could at the early onset of the game, have a huge warehouse by building a huge population rather than speeding out in leveling up yourself too fast, which I did. Right, so this is something you gotta bear this in mind. Alright, thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, and I wish you good luck in the next competition. Goodbye.